can make them with allulose in your kitchen. Let's try it. Mm, okay, y'all. I highly recommend this recipe. Real food doesn't have to mean boring food. These mini cheesecakes are made with allulose. I like to eat sweet things. I like to eat sweet things a lot, but they don't necessarily like me. So we had to learn how to make some sweets with things that like us. Hi, I'm Shelley. Welcome to my kitchen at Air2Ground Farms. I'm gonna make something I haven't actually made like this before today. I like cheesecake. We make cheesecakes, but I want something that's gonna cook a little bit faster. I want it to be sort of bite-sized, and with holidays and party season coming up, I wanted to share with you how I'm making them, and if they turn out good, maybe you'll want to make them too. So let's make the base of it. I'm going to use allulose and almond flour, and we're going to put together a little crust, and then we'll mix up the cheesecake that goes into it. Okay, uh, today I'm just using some Bob's Red Mill natural almond flour, low carb, natural thing that you can make crust out of. And we're going to use, in this whole recipe, I'm going to use Swerve brand 0 calorie sweetener allulose blend. The cool thing about allulose is it is a type of sugar that comes in fruits like, what do we got? Some figs, raisins, things like that. It's a naturally occurring sweetener. But the thing is it doesn't spike your blood sugar. And in fact, they have done some studies and it may be lowering people's blood sugar. We've had some people on our channel talk about their type 2 diabetics. They will actually put some of this in their water to help bring their blood sugar down. And it tastes like sugar. It doesn't taste like erythritol or monk fruit or some of the other things, maybe stevia. It can be a little bitter. It doesn't taste like that. It actually tastes a lot more like regular sugar. And the cool thing is it cooks like sugar. So we're going to do 2 tablespoons. I'm going to be checking with my recipe every now and then so I don't mess this up, y'all. Okay, 2 tablespoons of allulose with my 1 cup of almond flour. All right, this is really a pretty simple crust, and you could obviously alter it if you don't like cinnamon. This recipe calls for 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. I like cinnamon, so yeah, let's do it. A pinch of salt. Salt and sugar really go well together, and it actually really wakens your taste buds in your mouth, on your tongue. So anytime, like maybe you're making ice cream, you'll have to put a little pinch of salt in it. It's because it really activates all of your taste buds and makes it more delicious. All right, 3 tablespoons of melted butter. This is farm grown butter, but regular, well, we don't grow butter, but we make it up from our cow. Uh, Regular butter works. I think that was salted, so we'll see how that comes out. All right, I think I have everything in there. What I'm looking for, let me grab a whisk. All right, what it says that I'm looking for is for it to look like wet sand, and I think we'll achieve that pretty well here. Okay, I'm just gonna use my whisk and beat it up. I think a fork would have been a better option, but that's okay, because it just really clumped in there. Didn't it? Didn't it? Get out. Oh, for crying out loud. All my chef cookers out there are like, you never use a whisk for something like that. It's just gonna clump in it. Let's get a fork. I'm not a chef, I just play one in my kitchen. You know, we should all be home cooks. We should all be home chefs. We should think more, I'm going to cook that. You know why? Because I want to eat it. And I don't necessarily want to buy everything from the factories and from Costco or Walmart. And maybe I can just get some cream cheese and some ingredients and make it at my house. I think if we all became an ingredient kitchen, what my kids call it, you're an ingredient kitchen, Mom. There's really nothing to eat. Right, there's plenty to eat. You just have to make it, right? Okay, so it's kind of looking like wet sand to me. Yep, All right, I have my silicone cupcake pan here. I rinsed it out a minute ago, so I better dry it. Things that I don't use all the time, I go, I should probably rinse the dust out of that. When you live on a farm, y'all, I can't even tell y'all about the dust that happens with the dirt road flying back and forth and the side-by-sides going everywhere, feeding the animals, and multiple times a day. Everybody's just driving everywhere. It's just dust, and houses are dusty, but I'm telling you, it's a little bit extra. Okay, so now we take, it says a tablespoon per little cup. So let's use the good old-fashioned regular tablespoon here, and we'll drop some in each one and then press it in. When I was looking at this, wanting to do it like this, to make these little miniature cheesecakes, I almost was not going to make a crust at all. But then I thought, with holidays and particularly maybe guests coming over, I might want it to be a little fancier. So I thought I would try it like this. If it works great, then I will have a quick recipe to put together for the kids. And maybe if our friends come over, for sure, um, we'll throw one of these together. So the cool thing about the silicone pan is I don't have to have any little muffin papers. Okay, and then we're just gonna mash this down into the pan here for our little baby crusts, right? Everybody loves to eat with their fingers, small things. So I think it's gonna go great for me because it's like little cupcakes. You know how when you go to a wedding and, well, I'm dating myself a little bit. They don't do weddings like this anymore, but when you used to go to the church and people got married at the church and they would have a reception in the fellowship hall and they had cake, but before that they also had little finger sandwiches and nuts and maybe some cheeses. And the finger sandwiches, inevitable, there's like a egg salad sandwich and a tuna sandwich. And I don't know if y'all, let me tell me, have you been to those weddings where in the old days where the crust was cut off and it was cut into little triangles, the little mini sandwiches out of white bread, for sure. Like, because Aunt Sally that works in the church office made them, for sure. And isn't it odd how many of those you can eat? Because if you were at home, you probably would eat one sandwich, which equals four little triangles, but you go to these little wedding receptions back then and these little miniature sandwiches, and you can like eat 12 of them. So you have literally eaten three sandwiches before you leave. Well, that was my experience anyway, because girlfriend likes a sandwich. Now, I don't eat those anymore because we got off of the standard American diet. We cut our sugar, we cut all the ultra processed foods and those types of carbs in our life. So we we got away from that. So guys, I haven't had a sandwich in like 6 years. I do miss them, not gonna lie, because I'm telling you, if he said, "Hey, we're doing it," I'm going down to like Jersey Mike's and getting me a Jersey Mike's sandwich, extra wet, number 12. No, I don't dream about them. I don't miss them at all. Okay, I think they're good. Now I'm going to throw these into the oven, 325 for 5 minutes. Off they go. Okay. While those are cooking, let's put together this cream cheese part. Now, there's a couple of different ways that you can do it. I've picked the way that I like it and want to do it, so that's the way we're going to go with it. And I'm going to keep it as quick and easy as possible because ain't nobody got time for that. Not around here, not in this world. I know you're busy. I know you are. But you still want to eat good, right? All right. Probably the thing that's going to take the longest is getting into this cream cheese right here. One cool thing about cream cheese is super low carb. Now, I might have a lot of you ask about calories and stuff, but I got to be honest with you. I don't count calories. I quit count calories a long time ago, like 2019, when we started eating keto, low carb, and kind of kicked the junk out. All of a sudden, the calories just didn't matter anymore. Okay, in goes the cheese. This is cheese that I have allowed to come to room temperature. It's soft. Two of these in the bowl. Perfect. If y'all weren't here, I'd have licked that paper. Okay, cream cheese is in the bowl. Next ingredient, we want 2 large eggs. Straight out from the farm. Yep. All right, let's use you as a trash. Large eggs without shell, preferably. Cool. We did that one. And in you go. Beautiful. Hands. Again, our sweetener on this one is allulose. This calls for 1/2 of a cup to taste. If you want your stuff super sweet, add more. If you don't want it as sweet, add less. I'm just going to make it with what it calls for. 1/2 a cup. I'm going to use my 1 cup and estimate because it's not rocket science. And there goes a 1/2 a cup of allulose. Again, allulose measures just like sugar. So if you're using a recipe that your grandma gave you and it calls for sugar, you can replace it with allulose 1-to-1. If it says a cup of sugar, you can use a cup of this allulose blend. All right, a teaspoon of vanilla. Beautiful. 2 tablespoons of sour cream, if you want a little wang, or heavy cream. And I like a little wang, so I'm going for 2 tablespoons of sour cream. Oh, hear the bell. Our crusts have been in for 5 minutes. We're going to let those cool while we finish mixing this up. Now, I got my 2 tablespoons of sour cream. It calls for some lemon zest. I don't have any lemon zest, so I'm going to add a smidge of my lemon juice. This is all optional, so do what you want. You can make this taste like whatever you want. You could put pumpkin in it, lime, key lime, yum. Let's do a teaspoon of one of my favorite lemon juices that I just get at Costco. All right, let's do that. It's gonna zip it up even more. With Christmas happening, a lot of other flavors may want to be added to that. Now, because I'm being simple today, I'm not going to get my big thing out to mix this up. I'm going to use my 30, almost 4-year-old little hand mixer here. Black & Decker doesn't make them like they used to because this one's still working. And I'm going to mix it up, but the key on this is don't over mix it. Get it blended really nicely, but don't over beat it because that can cause it to act weird when it comes time to cook it. Do you see how yellow those yolks are? It's because they're pastured, they're farm raised, farm fresh eggs that get to eat all the outside and the bugs and stuff, and it just makes a beautiful yellow yolk on those eggs. I think I'm going to stop it right here. It's still got a few cream cheese chunks in it, but I think that's going to be okay because they'll get all melty. Now, the next thing we're going to do, that has cooled off back there. That took a couple of minutes. I could probably go longer, but I don't want to over fluff it. I'm going to taste it. When you're cooking at home, do you taste as you go? I love to taste. My husband does not love to taste. He just lets it ride. Mm. I just eat it like that. It's almost like pudding. That's perfect. Actually, I am going to mix it a little longer. Oh, it is really good. There's no aftertaste like when you have erythritol or stevia, you can really tell that it is some sort of artificial sweetener, but the allulose just doesn't do that in my mouth anyway. Okay, I'm gonna call it good. These are for the kids. Now we just carefully put them into our little cupcake muffin things here. Fill them up. Well, I'm gonna not full. Don't quote me on that one. I'm gonna do about, there we go, about 2/3 of the way full. I think that'll work out really well. Mhm. Now, supposedly using the silicone, it's gonna, once it cools, it's gonna pop right out. And the thing about cheesecakes is they cook really slow until they're still kind of jiggly in the middle. And then you're going to put it into the refrigerator for about an hour so that it can set up. That's the really important part, is allowing it to set back up. And that's when it's going to pop out of the muffin pan. And remember, you're cooking for you. You're not cooking for the queen. So if it's not perfect, nobody cares. Nobody cares. That whole Pinterest perfect thing has got to kind of go. I appreciate all the cool examples of art and things like that that you can find on places like Pinterest and Instagram. But can we just be real for a minute? At the end of the day, we just want some real food that tastes good, that isn't going to kill us. And so when it comes time to cook something at your house, just get the thing in the pan, get it cooked. Nobody's judging. We just got to keep that in sight, you know? All right, last one. Now this made a little more than what I need for these, so I'm going to save it. I'll have another plan for it, I'm sure. This pan is going into the oven at 325 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes because I'm using allulose and it browns a little bit more like sugar and not like monk fruit or erythritol. I'm going to keep an eye on them whenever it gets to about 15 minutes because I don't want them to over brown and I want them to still be jiggly a little bit in the middle. All right, let's put these in the oven. All right, they're in there. Let's set the timer. Timer for 15. Timer 15. And then we'll check it. These were in for 20 minutes and they kind of cracked open, but they are still a little bit jiggly. They're not like all set up. So the next thing I'm going to do is let them sit here for about 15 minutes, cool off, and then I'm going to put them into the refrigerator for 1 hour and then we're going to taste them. Okay, I let these things rest on the counter for about 15 minutes and then I put them into the refrigerator for about an hour, maybe a little bit more. Went and worked on a couple of other projects, fed the cows some hay, got them all settled in, and then came and checked and they're cooled off and they're nice and firm. Oh, they're like, they look perfect. Now let's see if they will just pop out of these silicone things and give it a try. All right, so this is one of my fuller ones. Yes, look at that. Okay. Oh my gosh, y'all, with the little crust on bottom, and it's just a little mini cheesecake. I've never done this, and that is so cute and perfect. And I'm gonna actually break it open and see if it's nice and creamy inside like we hope that it is. Look at that. Look at that. It's just a little mini cheesecake. You could probably get these at Costco or you can make them with allulose in your kitchen. Let's try it. Mm. Okay. Y'all, I highly recommend this recipe, this style of doing it. It took about 20 minutes to put together. The hardest thing was just beating it up long enough to get it nice and creamy. And you guys saw that there was a little bit of lumps in there left, but it's not now. It's just nice and creamy cream cheesecake. It's amazing. All right, get you guys some allulose at the store. We order ours on Amazon, actually. I think we have it in our Amazon cart. If you have enjoyed this video, I would sure love it if you would hit the like button and maybe share it with your mom or your sister if you guys are love cheesecake like I do and looking for a sugar-free way to enjoy the holidays. Until next time, bye y'all. Oh my God, this is so good.